Hello everyone, it is your boy Criminal Ambivalence. Yes, I'm finally back. I have a degree now. I'm an educated man. But more importantly, I'm back to make more YouTube videos. I'm sorry I've been gone for now 2 or 3 months. But what's more important is this Chainsaw Man chapter, so let's talk about it. With this newest Chainsaw Man chapter, I'm not happy. Not happy one bit. And I'll tell you why. So first of all, some groundwork. Some of you may not know me. But I'm one of the starchest Part 2 defenders out here. I love Asumitaka. I think Fujimoto's cooking. A lot of people have gotten onto it about the artwork or that it's repetitive. I personally think the repetitiveness has something to do with, Asumitaka as a character and her as a foil to Denji, which I think I'll make a video about at some point, but that is not the video we're making today. Today I want to talk about the most recent Chainsaw Man chapter. I forgot the number, I'll put it on the screen now, or maybe I'll forget to edit it, I don't know. But basically, why do I dislike this chapter? So this is the chapter where Denji goes to the burnt down brothel with Asumitaka and gang, and there's a couple of different problems with it. First of all, it violates the, show don't tell rule that we all learned in 3rd grade. I did not need to be told that Denji thinks with his dick, and I didn't need Denji to go through the realization that he thinks with his dick so bluntly, I guess, like crying on the ground about it. I feel like there's a better way to write the scene. One great example, or a better example, even from Part 2, where I think they exemplified this point, is when Denji was with Fumiko, and he's thinking about how he's not going to let a girl abuse him anymore or use him. And then it turns out that's like a thought bubble, and he's actually, once again, he's doing whatever a girl asks him to do, right? But I think that the characterization of Denji right now is kind of diminishing his growth that we've seen throughout the series. It's a little frustrating. Like, when he woke up from being cut to pieces, the first thing he's thinking about is Nayuda. And the idea that he is thinking about, like, going to a brothel over Nayuda, just to me wasn't very believable. He's talking about not being able to, jerk off or whatever. And I'm just kind of like, I feel like this is Part 1 Denji speaking. And I get not all progression is linear, and we've seen that with Denji. But this is a big step backwards. And maybe, I've just been overestimating his growth as a character. But I'm just very frustrated with the fact that Fujimoto is choosing to characterize Denji as someone who hasn't really grown, and despite being and taking care of basically a little sister, he's completely forgotten about her and the fact that everything is burned down for sex. I think one thing that was an interesting theme throughout this Part 2 was Denji's relationship to the character of Chainsaw Man, and how that's separate from him. But in this chapter, he sort of casts that aside to say the only reason I wanted to be Chainsaw Man was the fame. And I don't really like that explanation. I like the idea, like, of course the fame is part of it, but there's something else about Chainsaw Man where he gets to be exemplary, where people notice him, not just for the fame, but he stops being just a guy who lives a boring life, but something is actually interesting happening to him, which is a lot more, I guess, compelling than just like, he's a dog or whatever. And I don't hate that about Denji. Like, I think one of the interesting things about Part 1 is that, there's a lot of parts where he's like, why are my goals less valuable than yours just because they're less serious? Like, when he makes his goal with the leech devil, like, to touch boobs. I actually think that's interesting because it kind of shows that, his and Aki's goals, although vastly different and his goals vastly less serious, there isn't necessarily more or less merit in either of their goals, and goals of life are subjective, which was an interesting point to make. But here, when we're coming back to some of the same actions, it doesn't represent as interesting as a theme here. And so I'm just a little frustrated. Like, I really thought Fujimoto could have done more with this, and I think he's playing a little too deep into Denji's degeneracy and not enough into his character growth. Like, in my opinion, Denji has grown. Like, he's become someone who can take care of someone. He's become someone who thinks about people outside of himself, and he's living with all these, traumas that are within him. Like, I don't think I made another video talking about how I don't think Denji is necessarily mentally ill, but he definitely has scars, right? And, you know, all that was really interesting about Denji, because Denji was evolving into more of a 3D character, and it just feels like we're regressing, you know, and so I hope that we could see more, you know, characterization of Denji, and not him so blatantly speaking about his vices. I didn't need Fujimoto to tell me his vices. I knew what they are. He did a good job of showing me them. And so I think there's, you know, this isn't the end of part 2 or something, but it's just kind of a stumble that you know, I wish didn't happen. And so, you know, that's all I have really to say. Again, I'm sorry I've been gone so long. I will be making more videos. You know, I actually do love making YouTube videos, and I do love seeing your guys' comments, and yeah, I love this community as well. Like, I think the Chainsaw Man community is, you know, one of the best anime manga fan bases out there. And so, you know, if any of that appeals to you, subscribe. Yeah, love you guys. Adios, I'm out.